Nowadays, car ownership is often seen as a symbol of freedom and independence, but the reality is that owning a car can come with a hefty price tag that goes way beyond the initial purchase price. Today, we're going to explore the hidden costs of car ownership and how paying interest can seriously negatively impact your finances. And stay tuned to the end because we're going to go over strategies that will help make sure owning a car doesn't become a financial burden that ruins your life. Many people believe that owning a car is a wise investment, but the truth is that cars are depreciating assets that lose value over time. From the moment that you drive a new car off the parking lot from the dealership, it begins to lose its value by hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. This depreciation can leave you with a car that's far worth less than what you paid for it, trapping you in a cycle of negative equity. And if you get into this cycle of trading a car in before you pay it off just to get back into debt to get a new car, well, that could definitely take you down the path of having a negative net worth. Now let's talk about the high cost of financing. Paying interest on a car loan can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of the loan, adding to the overall expense of car ownership. For example, let's say you finance a $30,000 car over 5 years with an 8% interest rate. By the time you pay off the loan, you'll have paid about $6,500 in interest alone. That's money that you could have put towards other financial goals, such as saving for retirement or building an emergency fund. And what really concerns me is something called lifestyle creep. The more money you get, the more you feel like you've got to spend it. And there is a desire for some of us to have to upgrade to the latest model of what we drive instead of keeping the same car for 10 to 15 years. Let me tell you a true story. One of the best decisions I ever made was driving my 5-speed manual transmission 2007 Scion TC for 12 years. That car had over 220,000 miles on it, and I would have kept driving it if we didn't have to upgrade to a larger vehicle just to accommodate, well, the 4 kids we have. I remember once I paid it off though in year 4, I wasn't even thinking about going back into debt for a car. Instead, that money was focused to paying down debt and investing for retirement. In addition to loan interest, car ownership comes with a host of other expenses, including insurance, maintenance, fuel, and registration fees. These costs can add up quickly, especially if you have an older car that's going to require frequent repairs. Furthermore, if you live in a city with limited public transportation options, well, you could end up spending even more money on transportation costs. I've lived in cities like Atlanta, LA, Philadelphia, and I visited other cities like New York and Chicago. And I can tell you, some of these cities have great public transportation and others have terrible public transportation. And I will tell you that if you are one of those people who live in a city where the public transportation is not very good, well, you'll find yourself spending a lot of money on gas because you're going to be dealing with a lot of traffic throughout the work week, throughout your time driving through the city. And you know, gas is not cheap right now, especially as it continues to rise in price. And gas is a huge cost that could end up cutting in to the financial goals that you have to get out of debt and save for retirement. And one could argue that getting an electric car could save you a lot of money over the long term, but you still got to factor in the battery costs and if you actually have damage to the computer system or the mechanics of the car, of that electric car. I have seen a lot of quotes and a lot of prices that are upwards of $1,000 to $2,000 to $5,000 to $15,000 just to fix some of those electric cars. So that's something to be aware of, that if you think about getting an electric car is going to save you a lot of money, well, you want to be careful with that thought because you could still end up paying a lot of money in maintenance fees. And despite the potential pitfalls of car ownership, there are some strategies that you can use to ensure that owning a car doesn't derail your financial goals. Let's start with number 1, and that's buy used. Instead of purchasing a brand new car, consider buying a quality used vehicle. Used cars often have lower purchase prices and depreciate at a slower rate than new cars, allowing you to save money in the long run. Number 2, pay cash. Whenever possible, avoid financing your car purchase with a loan. By paying cash upfront, you'll avoid paying interest and could potentially negotiate a better deal on the purchase price. Number 3, choose a reliable model. When shopping for a car, prioritize reliability and longevity over flashy features or brand prestige. Look for models with a reputation for low maintenance costs and high resale values. Number 4, budget for expenses. Before purchasing a car, take the time to carefully budget for all the expenses that are going to be coming with that car, including insurance, maintenance, and fuel. By planning ahead, you can avoid surprises and ensure that you can afford to maintain the car that you love, that you want over the long term. Number 5, invest in maintenance. Regular maintenance is key to extending the life of your car and avoiding costly repairs down the road. Please do not delay getting that oil change or getting those check engine lights actually checked by an authorized mechanic or someone you trust. Be sure to follow the manufacturer's recommended maintenance schedule and address any issues promptly, right away, to prevent them from escalating into major problems later on. Car ownership can be a significant financial burden that keeps you trapped in a cycle of debt and depreciation. By understanding the hidden costs of car ownership and implementing smart financial strategies, well, you can ensure that owning a car doesn't interfere with your financial goals. Whether you're buying a used car, paying cash upfront, or prioritizing maintenance, taking proactive steps to manage the costs of car ownership can help you achieve financial freedom and build a brighter future. Now, there is another threat to the future wealth that you're trying to build, and to learn more about what that is, click on the video on the screen and I'll see you over there. Peace.